Hello, hello, hello. Happiest Friday if you are catching the replay. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to let me know that you're watching the replay by typing replay and sharing your key takeaways as you're watching. All right, if you are joining me live, hello, hello, hello. I am Siobhan, your community cultivator, and I believe that every single woman deserves to be free and fulfilled in her life. And everything that I do and the work that I do is all about supporting women to find fulfillment, to find their joy, to find their way of like, how do I learn how to be free? And so I teach women who feel stuck in some area of their life how to take the steps forward on their personal growth journey. And I adore the work that I get to do because I am literally watching the lives of women transform before my eyes, and it feels so freaking amazing. And so a little bit about what I do. I have a membership space called the Be Free Inner Circle, where positive, like-minded women are doing the work all over the world, and they're having the community support, but they're getting accountability from yours truly on their personal growth journey. And everyone is in different spaces. Some women have just started their journey. Some women are in the middle or in between. And then there's some women who have been on it for a length of time. And what we're able to do is support one another on the journey. And when I tell you, it is absolutely amazing to watch and to be able to support. I also have a podcast called the Be Free Project Podcast, where I talk a lot about personal growth and friendship, and it is blowing my mind, even just having the conversations around friendship, how it's being so well received and how so many women need to hear what I'm sharing because it's offering them support in their life. I'm also a speaker. I sell the Free Your Mind Journal and affirmation cards and all of the things. So if you want to ever learn more about me, the work that I'm doing, make sure you head over to BeFreeProject.com. All right, y'all. All right. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so happy. I am so happy to be here today. Y'all know I wasn't here last Friday because I went to visit my great friend in Chicago and had an amazing weekend. Such a beautiful experience. And I think I'm going to talk about on my podcast because one of the things, you know what, I'm going to leave it there because I'm about to get into it and that's going to sidetrack me to a whole nother place. But today I want to talk about who is in your friendship circle. And get your notebooks out. All right. Make sure you got a pen, a notebook, so then that way you can take notes, because the things that I am about to share is going to be very, 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 very helpful, especially if you are in a space where you need to figure out, do I have the right friends in my life? Do I have the right support around me? This is going to be an amazing conversation that we're going to have. And listen, I don't want to just be talking to y'all. I want y'all to engage with me. So what does that mean? You double tap the screen and you give me hearts. You give comments and questions and all that jazz in the comment section. If any question comes up while I am chatting with you, go ahead and put it in the Q&A chat box little thing, and I will be sure to respond to you. So number one, I want to know, is this a conversation that you need to hear today? Who is in your friendship circle? And I'm going to read you. I want to know if this is something that you need. I'm going to assume that you want to hear about it because you're here, but just let me know. Do you need more conversations around friendship? Like, especially especially if you're on this personal growth journey, which I'm going to take it that you are because you're watching me, number one. And then if you're looking at your friendship circle and where it's at now, you need to take inventory and an audit, if you will. So if that's where you're at, okay, great. Thank you, Angel. I want to know, like, yes, I need to hear what you're going to share today because I really need to take a look at the people who are in my circle and how the people in my circle are affecting my life. And I'm reading this book called We Should All Be Millionaires. I'm reading it with two of my friends, and we are discussing the book every single Wednesday here on IG Live at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So you can definitely catch, if you want to know more about the book, you will want to tune in on Wednesdays. However, that's not what I'm here to talk about, but I am pulling a quote from the book to have this conversation with you today, right? And as I'm reading this quote, I really want you to pay attention to the words that are coming out of my mouth, because this is what I want to say before I even read the quote to you from the book, We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers, is that Having the right friends in your life is a game changer. And I talk about it all the time, and y'all hear me say it, but I don't know if you're really digesting the words that are coming out of my mouth. And when I read this quote in the book, I said, that's why I say what I say, because this solidifies what I've already been saying, and I really need you to hear it. And if you hear it, then I need you to think about, okay, how does this apply in my life, right? I tell y'all every week, I don't want you just to come here to get an emotional high and feel good like, yay, Siobhan is on. I can't wait to hear what she got to say today. No. I want you to hear me. I want you to take your notes. And then I also want you to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do after I get through listening to this IG Live. But before I go into this quote that I want to share with you, I want everybody to hit the little arrow in the bottom right corner and invite your friends to come along for this conversation that we're about to have. So in the bottom right, hit the little arrow, share this IG Live with your friends so that they can come over and join us. All right. So I'm going to take a sip of water. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm in a great mood, y'all. I missed y'all last week. I missed y'all. I missed being live. So I'm in a great mood to have this conversation. All right. So this is the quote. Are y'all paying attention? And we talked about this on Wednesday, but here we go. The people you habitually associate with determine as much as 95% of your success or failure in life. I am going to read this quote again. The people you habitually associate with determine as much as 95% of your success or failure in your life. Now, I don't know if you're thinking like I'm thinking, but 95% is basically 100, right? 95% is a lot. So when you think about the people that you have in your life, the 95% of the people that you have in your life determines your success or failure. So if you are succeeding in your life, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you have an amazing circle of friends in your life, right? If there's areas in your life that you are failing, guess what? You need to take a look at your friendship circle, because that 95% is affecting how you succeed or how you fail. When I personally read that, I was like, and I actually highlighted it. Like, I was like, it's up here. I highlighted it. I was like, yo, like 95% of the people that I choose to be in my life determines my success and my failure. So then that goes back to what I share, like how the friends that you have in your life, it's a game changer. And I don't want you to overlook that, right? I want you to really think about, okay, well, if the people that are in my circle, my friendship circle, the people that you call friend, right? Though that 95% determines your success or failure. So then, of course, me being me, I'm like, okay, let me look at my own circle, right? Let me see what's going on. And I talk about my amazing friends all the time, right? And so even when I think about each person that's close to me, like, and my circle is not a big circle when it comes to the people that are closest to me, right? I'm like, oh yes, this is why I'm succeeding. This is why I'm succeeding on this personal growth journey. This is why I'm succeeding in my company, because I can look at the people that I chose to be in my life, right? I can look at them and I say, oh, this is what you bring to the friendship. This is what you bring, you know, and I can see how they're adding so much value to my life. I can see it. And so I'm not failing in life because I'm going to do a podcast episode on this, but I have consciously chosen every single person in my life that I call friend. What do I mean by consciously choosing? Right? I did this, and you can download the how-to guide to finding your forever friends. And it's a free resource. You'll find it in a link in my bio. But when I went through a friendship breakup, and y'all heard me talk about it a lot, something clicked in my mind that said, oh, you need to make a list and think through, what do you want in a friend, right? What do you want and what do you need, right? And so I took time to get very, very specific about the type of women, the type of friends that I wanted in my life. And I was crystal clear on that, right? So when I was making that list 2 years ago, this was December of 2019 that I made that list, right? When I was making that list, I did not know that I was manifesting the friends that I have today. I made that list out of a broken heart. And I made that list out of a space of where I do not ever want to go through this type of grief and this type of pain again when it comes to a friendship. So I got very crystal clear about what I wanted, right? And what I needed. And I was very specific. So that was me consciously saying, this is what I need and what I want in a friend. I went out and took another step on this, and I text every single person that was close to me, and I said, this is what I need from you, and this is what I'm also willing to give in this friendship. Some people stayed along and said, yes, this is, all that great stuff. Some people didn't, and that's totally okay. So this is what I mean by saying that I consciously chose them, right? I said, this is how I'm going to show up as a friend to you, and this is what I need from you. And then there's been some people that we naturally connect on Instagram, right? Or social media. I'll just use that since that's where we're at here. We naturally just connected. And as I've been watching their vibe and their energy, I reached out and I said, hey, I like your energy. I want to connect with you more. And it wasn't anything weird. I'm like, can we exchange phone numbers? Because sometimes I take breaks from the gram and I want to be able to connect. And there's been, I would say, at least 2 people that I've done that with. And we exchange phone numbers and we have built a friendship in real life, right? And so that is me consciously saying, I like something so much in you, something that you have, I know is going to bring success to my life, right? So when I read this quote, the people you habitually associate with determine as much as 95% of your success or failure in your life, right? When I read that quote, I did this work 2 years ago. So when I read it, when I was on, hey Ashley, when I read this, when I was doing a live with my friend Stacy, and Ashley is here, and we are doing the live, and we're doing a book club, on the book, We Should All Be Millionaires. That resonated with me so much because I was like, oh, you've done this, but didn't realize you did it ahead of time. And so when I read it, I'm like, oh, people need to know this. People need to know that 95% of the people you habitually associate, and I'm going to know this quote by heart. I can already feel it. I can feel it in my spirit. But the people you habitually associate with determine as much as 95% of your success or failure. I want to succeed in life. I'm already succeeding and I want to continue to do that. So I know that the people that I have around me, it matters. So as I'm talking to you today, and again, ask any question, anything about friendship, all the things, share your comment, ask your questions. I would love to just kind of engage and, talk about this, but just know that the people that you have in your life, it matters. It matters. And so when I set the tone for that 2 years ago, even the newest friends that I have added in my life, and so Stacy, she's a newer friend outside of my other friendship group. I said, I am consciously choosing you as my friend, right? You are based on how you show up and what I see. I want you a part of my life, because I can see that there's something in you that's going to help me succeed. So when you look at, look, y'all see, I am fired up today. When it comes to talking about friendship and personal growth, I'm like, personal growth. I'm like, yes, let's talk about it. And plus, I missed y'all. I wasn't here last week. But anywho, that is an exchange that we had. Like, yes, I am consciously choosing you as a friend to be in my life. And the reason I'm doing that, because I see that having you in my life will help me succeed. Right? Because if there's anything about any friend that I see like, ooh, I don't like the way she's showing up. She gossips too much. She's too much drama. She's pessimistic. She's not doing any personal growth. If that is happening, guess what? That type of friend will set me up for failure, because guess what? Like attracts like, right? And so if I'm listening to you gossip, if I'm listening to you, all this drama and all of this complaining and all of this blaming other people, even though I'm trying to be a light, your energy I'm going to gravitate towards, because you're someone that I spend time with. So again, I want you to take inventory of your friendships, right? Look at the people that you call friend. And are you consciously choosing this person? Are you thoughtfully choosing this friend to be in your life? Or are they taking up space and causing you to fail? I'm fired up. So then there's another question in the book. All right, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. Right, and then the second paragraph or so, she says, who have you been talking to? And I was like, ooh, who have you been talking to? Right? So I want you, and we did this when Ashley and Stacy and I did our book club on Wednesday. We talked about this, Stacy gave a really great example of going through your phone and who are the last 5 people that you talk to or you talk to or text, right? right? And go through your phone, not now because you're watching me, but after we get off of this, and think about every single person that you've connected to. Are they uplifting? Are they encouraging? Are they adding value, right? And I'm not saying cut anybody off. I'm just saying take inventory and be aware of what is happening. Because if you want to succeed in your life, which I'm going to make the assumption that you do because we are here today, then you're going to have to possibly shift your circle. And I personally had to do that. And I will say it ain't always easy. It's not. Like switching, not even switching, but shifting in my friendships has not always been easy. Yes, I will save this live. And then if you haven't yet, go ahead and share it right now. Hit the little bottom arrow in the bottom corner. Share this out so more people can come over and join us too. But, you know, shifting friendships and adding new friends to your life, I will not say that that process is easy. However, when you're emotionally and mentally healthy and you're consciously choosing, it makes a huge difference. So I was reading this book last year, I think I read it. It's called Belong. I can't think about who the author is, but this is the question that also changed the game for me. She said, did you thoughtfully choose your friends or did you fall into relationships? Right? Did you thoughtfully choose your friends or did you fall into relationships? And so if you, again, look at your friendship group and you're like, hey, this is not someone that I chose. This is someone we just happen to go to high school together and we've been friends all along and we just been doing things the way we've always been doing them, right? Or we work at the same job, we sit next to each other, right? And we just click because of X, Y, and Z. But did you consciously say, I want this person in my life? Because every single person that I have in my life, I said, I want you here. I want you to be a part of my journey with me. Right? So going back to the question, who have you been talking to? Right? I want you to think through your friendships. Like, who are you talking to on a daily basis? Are they pouring into you? Are they uplifting? Are they encouraging? Are they, and I'm going to give some examples here, right? But just think about who are you talking to on a day-to-day basis and how they are impacting your life as it relates to succeeding and failing. And I take friendships very seriously. Very, very seriously. And everybody does not get a chance to be around me. And there have been people that have wanted to be friends. And I'm like, I can sense energy a mile away. And everybody, I have to protect my space like nobody's business. So anyone that I'm adding into my life, best believe it's a conscious decision because I understand how valuable and how I understand how valuable it is to have certain people around me. And I understand that people can be like, leeches, if you will, and they can just want to take so much from you and just want to pour from you. And I am not here for that, right? So that is that. So this is what I want to talk about as well. So why, these are some of the things why who you have around you matters, right? So when you think about your inner circle, right? When you think about your inner circle, that is the closest people who are like-minded that you have around you, right? Your inner circle is your closest friends that you have around you that are like-minded. Everybody shouldn't be able to be in your circle. Everybody shouldn't get a chance to be around you, right? When you think about growing and evolving and going to the next level, everybody can't take up space with you. And for so long, if you're codependent or you're needy, or if you're like me, I've had abandonment issues due to some parental stuff. So when certain people would come into my life, I would grab onto them because of my abandonment issues. I didn't want that person to leave me. So then I became codependent in my friendships. And it took me going through that friendship breakup to realize that's what I was doing. But now that I'm aware, like, oh, because of your wounds that you've had, you fell into these friendships because you were afraid that they were going to leave you because you have mother wounds. But once I cleaned all that up and I healed from my mother wounds, I'm like, oh, no. Every single person that's in my life, I have to choose, and I have to make sure that I love myself so much that I'm not dependent on them or codependent on them, right? That I am going to love myself so much that I always come first and I won't need that friend to be something that I'm not being to myself. So when you think about the people that are closest to you, your inner circle, you want to make sure that they are like-minded. And for me, what's very, very important, you have to be emotionally and mentally healthy. You have to be vibrating on a certain level to be in space with me or community or what have you, right? And so these are just some things that came top of mind because I literally just drafted this right before I got on today. But when you think about your inner circle and your closest friends, you want friends around you that will stretch you, right? They will stretch you outside of your comfort zone. And for me, I will say, I'm not going to say all of my friends do that, but there are specific friends that definitely stretch me and they will challenge me. So even this week, so I was in Chicago this past weekend, and y'all know I've been talking about taking off days and just like having days of rest. So my days of rest are Thursdays and Sundays. Those are my off days where I do nothing. And so because I was in Chicago I didn't get home until late on Monday. And so I didn't work on Monday, right? And then Tuesday, my grandmother was admitted into the hospital. So I spent all day in the hospital. She's fine. She's back home, all that great stuff. But I spent all day Tuesday in the hospital with her. Wednesday, what is today? Today is Friday. Something happened on Wednesday. I'm saying all that to say I have not got a chance to get into a flow of work. So then I was talking to my great friend on the phone and I said, you know what? I know that I said Thursdays are my off days, but I have not worked all week. I need to work on Thursdays. And she just listened to me. And she was like, is that honoring yourself? She was like, first she listened to me and because I gave her all the reasons that I'm giving y'all, right? And she was like, so how is that honoring yourself? Or something like that she asked. And I'm like, that is not honoring my word. I'm not going to go back on my word. I'm taking Thursday off. And yesterday was the best day ever. But this is the thing. She stretched me outside of my comfort zone because I would have went back into my old pattern of like, oh, I missed all these days of work. Let me go back and, oh my word, and I'll work on Thursday, even though I made a commitment and a promise to myself. But because I shared that with her, she was able to say, hey, I know how you feel. I know all this stuff that has happened. But guess what? Thursdays are your off days and you need to honor that. And so I did. So you want friends in your life that will stretch you outside of your comfort zone, that will not just, that will challenge you. You want friends in your life that will challenge you as well. That's the first thing that I have here. The next thing is you want your friends to expose you to new things and new experiences. So when I think about my closest circle, I'll just base it off of the conversations that we have. They're exposing me to new ways of thinking that if it was just me or if I was with another group of friends who are not on this same level, I wouldn't have the exposure that I have now based on the experiences that I'm having with them. And so you want friends that can expose you to new things, right? You want friends that can be able to help you, like, help you see things differently, help you to like really think critically and really expose your mind to maybe experiences or thoughts or what have you that you may have not had before. So even when I think about like my closest friends, like I'm exposed to a whole new way of thinking just because of the circle that I keep, right? And the next thing is you want friends that's going to hold you accountable to do what you say that you're going to do. So for me, I am somebody, accountability through and through. If you say one thing that you want to do, trust and believe, I am going to hold you accountable to that thing. But guess what? Everybody is not like that. But for me, accountability is very, 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 very important. So my friends know if they say, I don't know, whatever they say, if my friends say anything, they know that I'm going to hold them accountable to that thing that they said. And so you want friends in your life that's going to do that for you. You definitely want friends that will make space for you and that will also hold space. And so we all go through challenging moments. We all go through all these different things. And you want friends that genuinely care. You want friends that genuinely that will make space. Like, who's that? And I want you to think about this because I remember a friend said this to me several years ago. She said, everyone needs a friend that they can call at 3 o'clock in the morning and know that that friend will pick up no matter what. And when she said that, I was like, let me think about my friendship. This was many, many years ago. And I'm like, let me think. Are there people in my phone that if I call them at 3 o'clock in the morning for whatever reason that I needed to speak to them, that they would pick up the phone for me? And that caused me to take, some inventory, like, I want to make sure that I have people in my life like that, because we all go through different things at different times. And all your friends ain't got to pick up the phone at 3 a.m. But if you have one friend that no matter what, I call her at noon, I call her at 3 in the morning, I know she's going to be there for me when I have something heavy or whatever, and she's going to make space for me. You also want friends that's going to push you to your greatness, right? Friends that's not going to let you just be mediocre and average. Friends that's going to say, I see something in you, and even if you can't see it in yourself yet, I see it in you, and I am going to motivate you. I'm going to push you. I'm going to hold you accountable. I am going to hold you accountable to do that thing. I will say again, and the reason why I can say that all of my friends fit what I'm sharing with you right now is because I consciously chose every single woman in my life, right? So I can say, yes, my friends stretch me. Yes, my friends make space for me. Yes, they influence some of my decisions. Yes, they expose me to new things. Yes, they make space for me. Yes, they push me to greatness, because I consciously chose every single one based on the list that I made 2 years ago. Right? And so if you haven't downloaded the how-to guide to finding your forever friends, I highly, highly, highly recommend it, because I give you a whole layout on how to do that process that I did a couple of years ago, which has been a game changer for me and how, and based on the friends that I have in my life. And then the last thing I want to share, and again, you can go deeper into this, but when I think about the friends in my inner circle and that are closest to me, they dream with you, right? You want friends that are not dream killers. Friends that you can share your biggest, wildest dreams with, and they're not going to say, girl, why you going to do that? Oh, you can't do that. Ain't nobody else doing that. No. They're going to say, all right, here's the resources you need. Here's the book you need to read. Oh, I know this person. Let me connect you with that person. Or just even make space for you to dream. You don't know. Oh, let me drink some water. You don't know how many people do not have friends in their life that they can share their dreams with. And dreams are very, very, very personal. I remember at one of my live events at the Be Free meetup, there was this lady there, and I went around the room and I asked every woman to share her biggest, wildest dream. And you can tell that for many of the women there, they had never even been asked that question. So it was hard for them to even come up with something, right? And so one woman in particular, she said she wanted to write a book. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, let's explore, and I'm all excited about it, all of that, right? And so tears, and I kid you not, welled up in her eyes, and she could not even look up at me. Like, she kept her head like looking at her paper, because she was so fearful of the words that had just came out of her mouth. And I'm like, she must haven't ever said that. That must have been a dream that she kept to herself. But for some reason, she felt safe enough in the space that we were in to say it out loud. And because I called on every single I called on every single person in the room. So if I call on you, you're going to have to answer me, right? And so anywho, she says, she always she said she wanted to be a New York Times bestseller. That is what she said. And so I said, oh, well, what type of book would you like to read? And so tears, crying. And then again, she could never look up at me again, but I was listening because I went to stand by her table pre-COVID, right? And so she was like, I used to write fiction stories when I was a little girl. And I was like, okay, let's talk about that. And she was like, and I always loved writing. And I'm getting really excited, even though I see that I can feel her disposition, but I didn't care. Like, I'm excited that you're sharing your dream with me. And so she goes on to say how she wrote all these fiction stories as a kid. And, and then the tears just really, really started flowing. And I'm like, man, this is something that she wants really, really bad. And so I started listening. I'm like, okay, you can do this, you can do that, But she wasn't ready for it. And I haven't seen her again. I'm not sure what happened in her life. But I'm sharing this to say that there are so many women who don't even have a safe space to share their dreams. Whether it's with a close friend or an inner circle, the Be Free inner circle, anything like that. Like, so many people don't even have someone that they can say, this is my deepest desire. This is my vision. This is my dream. This is something that I want to at some point experience in my life. And if you don't have if you don't have friends that you can share your dreams with, like, you are missing out. So many people have come on after I started, and the whole purpose, I guess, of today's live is based on this quote from the book We Should All Be Millionaires. And the quote is, the people you habitually associate with determine as much as 95% of your success or failure in your life, right? So again, when I think about my personal life, I am succeeding, and I'm succeeding based on the people that I choose to keep company with, the people that I choose to be in my inner circle, the people that I'm like, yes, I have consciously chosen you as a friend. I want you in my life. And now I can see the harvest. I can see how I'm succeeding based on the people that that I'm choosing to keep around me. So that is what I want to say. And I am fired up. Yes, Sylvia, I am fired up today. Because whenever I get a chance to talk about friendship, I'm like, ooh, let's get it. So I want to answer any question you have, any thought, anything you want me to elaborate on. I would love to just go back and forth with you. I'm going to scroll up. And my great friends are on the call today. Hey, y'all. Let's see here. For a long time, I was that person to many, but not have that person. I'm so grateful to say I have more than one I can call anytime and get an answer. Yeah, and it's great. Like all of your friends don't have to do all this for you, but what I'm trying to say is one friend doesn't have to be all of these things. You can have multiple friends that fill a certain space in your life, and that's perfectly okay. Got Grammett says, friends that hold you accountable and ask those tough questions without judgment, but are pushing you for the better. Listen, woo! Let me tell y'all, my friends already know I am a question asker. And some of those questions may be very uncomfortable at times, but I don't ask the question just to be asking. Any question that I ask, I genuinely want to know, but I also want you to hear yourself. Right? And so when you have friends in your life, number one, that can hold you accountable like I do, but then also ask you the tough questions, right? Like, again, and I remember when I was teaching the Master Your Mind Bootcamp inside the Be Free Inner Circle, one of the things that came up for one of the ladies, I asked her something and she was like, you know what? Nobody has ever asked me that question before. And again, tears were welled up in her eyes because I touched something that hadn't been touched in a very, very long time. And then to your point, Got Grammett, is that you definitely want friends in your life that will not judge you. And when you've had friends, and I'm speaking from experience, that judged your every move, or they always have something to say, or they challenged your decisions, that is challenging. I will say that. So then when you get in company or when you make new friends who are not judgmental, like my friend and I were talking about this the other day, I'm like, oh, you're not gonna judge me for that? You don't have anything to say? And she's like, no. But when you're so used to people doing that, it's hard to accept when people don't judge you, because it's almost like you're expecting it. You're like, ooh, if I share this vulnerable thing with you, what are you gonna say? Because you're already prepared for them to judge you based on other things that have happened in your past. So to your point, yes, you want friends in your life that will not judge you and that will push you to your best. Because it is a game changer. Let's see here. Angel says, protect your space. I definitely have abandonment issues. And that's real. And so even I will say this, and I feel like you may have said that before, Angel, that because you are aware of your abandonment issues, I would do the work around that first before I start consciously choosing friends. Period. Right? Like to be in your life. Because I know for me, with my abandonment issues, they caused me to be codependent. I was very needy. I lacked trust in myself. There was times that I lacked self-love because I was looking for love in other people, specifically in other friends. And that was because I had mother wounds. And I had to clean all of that up. And it took some time. But there will be no way that I could have the friends in my life today had I still been heavy in my abandonment issues. So my recommendation or suggestion for you is that you take time to go to therapy. And I know you are, because I know you're in the inner circle, in the Be Free Inner Circle. But you take time to do that inner work and heal from the abandonment issues, so that when you consciously choose your friends, you're doing it from a healthy place and not from a needy space, right? And that is a huge difference, a huge difference. Let's see here. Energy. Yes. Energy is everything. And everybody cannot be in my space. They cannot. Just coming up to realizing this over the past 6 months. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, you love my tracksuit. Thank you. Thank you for loving this. I love it too. It's super cute. Let's see. Angel says, I tend to fall into relationships. So since you're aware that you fall into relationships, that's the key, right? Awareness. This is in a 6-step roadmap to being free. That is the number one thing that I tell everybody as you're on this personal growth journey. Self-awareness is number one. So now that you are aware that you fall into relationships, now you can begin to do the work around that and get clarity and all the things. And if you haven't downloaded that free resource, go to my website at BeFreeProject.com to do that. But awareness is everything. The Giving Gazette 1 says, I also have problems with lasting friendships. Oh, I would love for you to tell me more. Why do you feel you have, if you're still on here, why do you have problems with lasting friendships? I'm curious. Let's see. Sis Journal says, I've never had friends. When I try to make friends, it don't work because I like my own space. Most of the time, I like being alone. It's always been hard for me to make friends. I moved a lot as a kid. First of all, Sis Journals, thank you so much for sharing that, right? Like you, I moved around a lot when I was a kid. And so I gravitated, whenever I would make a friend, I'm like, yes, this is my friend. And then it will be time to move again. Also, I do like my alone time. I do. But I am a community cultivator through and through. And I also thrive off of other people's energy, specifically my friends or what have you. And so you can still love to be alone, but then also still have great friends in your life. It doesn't mean like, oh, because I'm a loner, I can't have friends, right? Or because I love being alone, I can't make friends. Now it's time to do the work around, well, why is it hard for you to make friends? What type of friends have you had, in the past? And then are you moving around a lot now where it's hard for you to keep friends? Because I'll say for me, all of my friends, not all, there are many of my friends that live in completely different states, but yet you wouldn't know it by the way that we communicate on the daily, right? So I challenge you to do the inner work of why do you feel like it's hard for you to make friends as an adult since you're not a child anymore, right? And I also recommend that you download the how-to guide to finding your forever friends if you haven't done that yet, because it will be a great support system on helping you with that as well. All right, so let me know, do y'all, I don't see any questions in here. Let me know. I see many of you joined. If you have any questions, let's see here. Oh yes, please ask me a question. That's what I'm here for. Ask me a question. Yes, that's right. Oh, hey Valerie. That's right. Good friends do not judge you. They do not at all. And if a friend is judging you, again, so even when you take inventory and you look at your friends, you're like, this friend is always judgmental, or this friend is always criticizing me, or she always this. Pay attention to that. Is that the type of energy you want? But yes, Curly KK89, please ask me your question. I would love that. Yay, I'm glad you thought this was a very good message. It was right on time. Yay. My great friend H.E. Right. I prefer being alone, but I also enjoy friends. You just have to set boundaries so you don't feel overwhelmed. I agree, H.E. You do have to set healthy boundaries because it can be a lot for people, especially if you need a healthy balance of being alone. Because I love my alone time, but I love my friendship time as well. So I agree. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Oh, I'm feeling good. I was like, and y'all, I was going to take another off day, but I'm like, Siobhan, get on there. And I'm not feeling all alive. I'm at work today. If you're still on here, Curly KKK 89, let me know. You can ask your question. If no one else has any questions, this was amazing. Oh, and let me say this. You want to know where you can find your forever friends and get the accountability with doing the personal growth work? It happens inside the Be Free Inner Circle. And it is I was just telling my banker the other day about the Be Free Inner Circle and how amazing it is to watch women build real, genuine friendships. And I know I'm watching now as I'm seeing how they're connecting, where many of them have become pen pals. They visit each other in other states. They exchange phone numbers and they're talking. They're sending each other gifts and wow. And I'm like, oh, Siobhan, it's based on what you're putting into the community. It's based on how you talk about how amazing your friends are all the time. And you're teaching them about friendships and what it really looks like to have a forever friend in their life. So they're actually doing the work. And y'all know, if you're around me, when you do the work, that lights me up inside. When I can see that you are picking up what I'm putting down and you're actually applying it. So that's what happens inside the Be Free Inner Circle, where women are building these friendships, and yet and they're also getting accountability with doing the personal growth work, because it is very, very hard. I kid you not, to do this work on your own. And so you want to be around like-minded women who are also doing the work. Women who are showing up not only for themselves, but also one another. And they get me. If y'all enjoy me on here, just imagine if you had me 24/7 inside the Be Free Inner Circle, where I get to coach you, mentor you, and be your biggest cheerleader to help you reach towards your dreams and really find fulfillment and be free and live the life that you desire. And so if you want to know more, because I know you do, not if, because you do want to know more, make sure you head over to BeFreeInnerCircle.com to learn more. Again, BeFreeInnerCircle.com to learn more. And then if you have any questions, you can always shoot me a DM, and I'm even willing to hop on a call with you and tell you more about the community. But I don't see any questions here. The young lady may have popped off. So thank you for joining me today. This was an amazing conversation. I will save it. You'll be able to catch the replay. And then if any questions, comments, thoughts come up afterwards, put them under the video in the comment section. I'll make sure that I address it. I hope you have the most amazing weekend ever, because I sure will. And thank you for tuning in, and have a great one. And I'll see y'all next Friday. Yes, I will see y'all next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.